Hey, I'm Vitaly from Good DIY Plans, and today I'll show you how to build a garage shelf with a work desk to get your space organized. And I'm sure that many of you will agree that garages can quickly turn into messy dumping grounds where everything just gets piled up, making it impossible to find what you need when you need it. It's frustrating and stressful, especially when things feel unsafe and cluttered, like they could fall at any moment. This shelf is designed to help you take back control of your space. It makes the most out of your garage's vertical room, taking stuff like tools, sporting gears, seasonal decorations, and storage bins off the floor and neatly organized. Plus, with the bonus of the integrated work desk, you get a dedicated spot for your projects, transforming the chaos into a space that is organized and safe. All right, now before we actually dive into how to make this shelf, let's briefly go over the cost, how long it's going to take to make, the tools, the shopping list, and the cut list. So first, regarding time, it does take about 2 hours, but this varies with experience. About $150 to make, but that can vary based on location, supplier. And then this is an excellent project for beginners because it's super easy. You're gonna see in just a moment here. So for the dimensions, this shelf is 198 inches long, 24 inches deep, and 72 inches tall. The shelves are spaced out 20 inches apart here. You can change that though. If you have a specific tote or specific item that you're working with, you can just move these up or down. Same for these other shelves here. And for the work desk, it doesn't have to be 30 inches. It can be standing height, so you can make that a little bit taller or shorter, whatever your preference is. Now for the tools for this project, essentially you just need 3 tools. You need something to cut with, a saw, a drill, and a driver. And that's it. So you could either use a handheld saw, or if you'd like to have nice straight cuts, and if you do a lot of DIY projects, it's worth just getting a nice saw. This is actually the one that I have, and I've had this for about 12 years. It does everything, so I don't need to buy another saw. I've had 0 issues with it. Very good saw. So currently it's $471, 26% off. Now for the driver, if you don't already have a drill and driver, this is a combination. So you have a 20 volt drill and the 20 volt driver here that you can buy. This is the one that I have. I actually have a few of these. Very tough, very reliable. Currently $159. Excellent deal. Now for the tools that you don't necessarily need but are recommended. So a sander. This is just for kind of knocking off the edges of the wood so nobody gets a splinter. Table saw. This is really good if you don't want to rely on Home Depot or Lowe's for cutting those plywood sheets for you when you buy them. You could just cut it at home, and usually it ends up being more precise. This is the table saw that I use, and it's super reliable, my go-to. You can also reinforce all of this with wood glue. This is optional. It does make it more heavy duty. And then also I put in here that you need a right angle bracket, optional. There's many ways to secure the garage shelf to the wall, and we're gonna go over that in more detail. And then lastly here, Countersink Drill Bit. So I would say this is more of a must, just because it makes your shelf so much more heavy duty and able to actually hold a lot more weight. So what these guys do is they are used to pre-drill holes before you actually place the screw in there, and that way it doesn't split the wood. And speaking of screws, you need 2 different types here. So you're gonna need 2.5-inch screws and 3.5-inch screws, or 3-inch screws works as well. So you don't need a lot of these, just a small pack. So you could buy the 2.5-inch screws, 50 of them. They already come with a driver bit for $10, and then same thing here. This is for 3-inch screws, 50 piece for $10 as well. So both very good deal. All right, now regarding the shopping list. So for this project, you're going to need 23 2x4x8s and then 3 plywood sheets, so 48 by 96 inch. I put in here a 1/2 inch thick. You could buy thicker if you wanted to have a more heavy duty shelf, if you plan on maybe storing something like a bunch of car parts or something really heavy, car engines. But if you don't need a super heavy duty shelf, the 1/2 inch works great. It's a good balance. Or you could save some money, get something thinner as well. Not as heavy duty, but a good option. So now this DIY plan, I'm also gonna have linked in the description below. If you haven't built anything yet and this is your first project, I recommend having this plan. What it does is it goes by step here, giving you all the details on how to actually build a shelf. So it goes down to even telling you where to place the screws, what the spacing should be between each board. So super detailed and helpful. Now this does also have some bonus information here. For example, how to combine units together, adjusting the work desk height if you want it to be standing height, how to make sure it's comfortable, seating height as well. Also, how to attach it to the wall. There's many different situations here. For example, if you're dealing with baseboard or if you need to add additional support. So it's gonna have some information there about that. Finishing touches and so much more. Okay, so let's see if this garage shelf will work in your garage first before you actually build it. What I've done is I've modeled a single and a double car garage. These are standard kind of US sizes. So a single is 168 by 264, a double 264 by 264. So for the single car garage, you can choose to build these along the sides. They're not gonna fit along the back here, but on the sides they'll fit just fine. And you can only choose one side here because when you park your car, you're probably gonna wanna get out, right? So you need to open those doors. So if you build just one, then you're gonna have easy time getting in, getting out, and you're gonna organize your garage. For the double, it is a little bit different because you have a lot more choices. Probably the best option is just put it along the back. Or you could do one side, one back, but you probably can't do all three. So depending on how wide your garage is actually, some of the wider ones will be more wide than 264. So you have more options there. All right, so let's actually get into the building portion of the garage shelf here. So to make the longer garage shelf, we're gonna start by taking two 96-inch 2x4s and then three 21-inch 2x4s. Space them out 45 3/4 inches apart, and then secure them with 3.5 or 3-inch screws. You can use wood glue if you wanted that extra reinforcement. Now for the plywood sheets, so here you're gonna need to take two full-size plywood sheets, so 48 by 96. And if you're using your own table saw, just cut it right down the middle, so 24 inches. Or have Home Depot or Lowe's cut it for you, and then it's ready to go. Once you've got the plywood sheets, go ahead and attach it. So here you can use the 2.5-inch screws, wood glue, if you'd like as well. You're gonna need a total of 4 of these guys. And now to attach them together, you're going to need 72-inch 2x4s. So these 72-inch 2x4s are gonna attach directly to the shelves that you just made. So what you can do is you can lay them out, space them apart, however far apart you'd like. And then go ahead and use the 2.5-inch screws. The reason why is because you don't want them poking through to the other side. So 2.5-inch screws here, use wood glue, and then just do the same thing for the second one here as well. All right, now you're gonna need to build the smaller frames as well. So basically the same thing. You're gonna need two 48-inch 2x4s, two 21-inch 2x4s, use the 3 or 3.5-inch screws. And for the plywood sheet, just cut it right down the middle, so 24 inches by 48, and cut it right down the middle here as well. or you can have Home Depot or Lowe's do that for you. So once you've got the plywood cut, go ahead and attach it. Use the 2.5-inch screws, use some wood glue, and you're gonna need a total of 4 of these. So 3 of these will become shelf, and then 1 of these is gonna be the work desk. So go ahead and put together the shelf unit like before. So you're gonna need a total of 4 of these 72-inch 2x4s. Space them out however you'd like, so 20 inches here, and then secure with 2.5-inch screws. Don't use the longer ones so they don't poke through. Now this is the portion where you're going to actually put them together. So you've got the shorter unit here, the longer unit here, and you've got the desk. So if you want it to be at like seating height, which is about 30 inches, once you're ready, then you can just secure them together, and you'd use 2.5-inch screws and just put it in from the side. If you want a counter height, then you can just make this taller, and that way you can work while standing. And also regarding this bottom shelf, I really like the fact that it's here because what it does is it allows you to store things that cannot make contact with the ground, but you'd want pretty low to the ground. Maybe they're heavy. So things like rice, things like potatoes or something. If you live in a place where it snows or rains a lot of times what ends up happening, for example, in my garage, is people are walking and then there's like puddles here, or even from the car, some puddles, and they can get things wet. So this is a really good option for heavy things that need to be off of the ground. All right, so let's talk about how to actually secure the shelf. So here we have a model of the double car garage, and there's a couple ways to do this. So you can either use So now there's a couple ways to do this. You can either use brackets that you see here. So we've got 3 brackets. Or what you can do is you can directly drill through the shelf here, and you can just put in the longer screws. So here you might actually need screws that are longer than 3 inch. So maybe 3.5, 4, 5-inch screws, depending on your situation. So if we just kind of peeled back the wall here, you'll see that they do need to align with the studs. So for example, if you're using the bracket, it needs to align with the stud that stands behind it. So these are usually about 16 inches apart. You can use a stud finder so that you're not making a ton of holes in your garage, and you can secure it that way as well. Now, if you clicked on this video, I'm assuming that you're trying to organize your garage, and honestly, you don't have to settle for the design that we went over. If, for example, you don't really do work in the garage, you can just get this plan. So this one doesn't have that work desk. It's going to maximize your storage even better. If you're looking for something where you're concerned about it maybe falling out from the side, so you want it enclosed like this, if you have like smaller items that you're trying to store, this would be a really good option. If you're looking to protect your items, for example, if you're doing a lot of woodworking and there's a lot of sawdust in the shop, these bins are excellent for that. And also there's information about this QR code system, how you can look up items on the phone. So it's very convenient, very interesting, modern. There's also designs where you can have it as a L shape for the garage as well. So you've got specific kind of layouts, or if you are looking to have something that has recycle bins. So all of these plans are going to be available. I'm going to have that linked below, so you can explore that yourself. And thank you for watching this video. If you feel like it was helpful, comment, subscribe, like. If there are specific questions you have, I'm pretty available and I can answer questions. So just comment in the link below. Thank you for watching.